You were, I think, going to go to the Clive Davis party.
Yes.
It was a surreal event where Whitney's body was still in the hotel, and there was this sort of party where apparently half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying. What did you feel about that?
I thought that was complete insanity. And knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She was the kind of woman that would say, stop everything.
Katt Williams once said that when something in an industry built on make-believe looks like a setup, people should pay close attention because it might not be a coincidence. News spread that Clive Davis had passed away, and some Whitney Houston fans reacted by saying, "About time." That may sound shocking, but many people point to the complicated history between Clive and Whitney to explain why those feelings still exist. At the same time, there's no denying that Clive helped discover and shape some of the biggest music stars ever. Both of those ideas can exist together. Many people praised Clive for his incredible ability to spot talent. But over the years, he also faced serious accusations involving the way some artists were treated, including claims about financial problems and other controversial allegations. Whitney Houston is often brought up in those conversations. Clive lived to the age of 94, while Whitney's life was tragically cut short at just 48. Her official cause of death has been debated by some fans for years, leading to many theories and endless speculation, even though those claims have never been proven.
So you mean to tell me Clive Davis has passed away at the age of 94? I woke up shocked this morning because this man has single-handedly outlived majority of the artists he was connected to.
Katt Williams has also suggested that when something involving the entertainment business seems carefully arranged, there could be more happening behind the scenes. After Whitney's passing, some people questioned who benefited from the tragedy and wondered whether powerful figures gained from what happened, though those suspicions remain unverified. Katt Williams has argued that in the entertainment business, major events are rarely just random accidents. He claimed that if everything were truly a coincidence, people would also be talking about the executives or companies losing money. Instead, he suggested that the artist is often the one who pays the biggest price, while someone else ends up making a fortune.
Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like.
Speaking about artists who die, Katt alleged that huge amounts of money can continue flowing while business obligations become much simpler, though these are his opinions and have not been established as fact.
That everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is.
That brings the conversation back to Whitney Houston and the financial questions that have surrounded her career for years. In 2001, Whitney signed a recording agreement reportedly worth up to $100 million with Arista Records, making it one of the biggest music deals ever announced at the time. Clive Davis played a major role in putting that deal together, and many reports described it as a contract that included large advances, meaning those advances generally had to be recouped through music sales before additional royalties would be paid.
That happens in a business. Everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup, is.
By the time Whitney passed away in 2012, multiple reports suggested that her finances were under significant strain despite her incredible success. That reality has led some people to question how such a massive career could end with so many financial concerns, while others have debated who ultimately benefited from the business side of her legacy. Those questions and theories continue to be discussed, but they remain matters of public speculation rather than proven fact.
In business, nothing is coincidental, or you will be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up.
Before Whitney Houston's passing, multiple reports claimed she was facing serious financial trouble and was millions of dollars in debt. It was also widely reported that she relied on financial help connected to her business relationships, including loans that allegedly helped cover expenses such as her home and treatment. Some industry sources have even claimed that obligations tied to advances and other financial arrangements with Arista and Sony remained unresolved after her death. What happened next is one of the biggest reasons people continue debating the business side of Whitney's legacy. Right after her passing, demand for her music surged, with albums and songs selling in huge numbers once again. Those earnings reportedly helped her estate pay outstanding financial obligations, including debts linked to recording advances and other reported loans. Even so, some reports have suggested that certain financial obligations continued long afterward, adding even more questions to an already controversial situation.
But the Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel. You turn an evening into a tribute.
One music executive was even quoted as saying that Whitney's estate might not receive meaningful royalty payments for a very long time because of those outstanding obligations. If that assessment is accurate, the companies or rights holders connected to those agreements could continue receiving revenue generated by her catalog for years. However, the exact financial details are not fully public and remain the subject of ongoing discussion. Supporters of this view often point to Michael Jackson's estate as another example of how an artist's catalog can become enormously valuable after death. Reports at the time said Michael carried hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, but in the years that followed, his estate generated extraordinary revenue through music sales, licensing deals, and previously unreleased material. Some critics argue this shows how record contracts and estate agreements can continue producing major profits long after an artist is gone, while others note that these outcomes depend on complex legal and business arrangements rather than proving any deliberate wrongdoing. Whitney Houston's death has remained the subject of intense public discussion for years, and many people continue to question what happened on the night she passed away.
We're the first, one of the first ones at Clive's party to speak about Whitney's passing the other day.
Yes.
And that was, did you know her well?
Yes, I did. I actually, when I was growing up in the music industry before I had success, I somehow got on her wedding invitation. So I was at her wedding, but I didn't really know.
On February 11th, 2012, just before the Grammy Awards, Whitney was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her room at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. The official investigation ultimately concluded that she died from accidental drowning, with heart disease and cocaine use listed as contributing factors. Even so, some commentators have pointed to details from the case that they believe raise unanswered questions. Reports noted that Whitney had abrasions and other marks on parts of her body, although investigators did not conclude that these injuries proved she had been assaulted. Forensic pathologist Cyril Vecht, who was not the official medical examiner on the case, publicly questioned aspects of the findings. He also discussed reports about the temperature of the bathwater and suggested an alternative interpretation of what may have happened, though his opinions differed from the official conclusion. Wecht told ABC News, "She was unconscious, dead, or dying when she fell into the tub. I do not believe that the death was due to drowning." His comments fueled even more debate, but they were not adopted as the official determination of the case. Private investigator Paul Hubel later shared his own theory, claiming that some of Whitney's injuries looked like defensive wounds. Hubel, a former police officer who investigated several celebrity cases as a private investigator, argued that the evidence deserved closer scrutiny. He also suggested the possibility that another person had been involved, but those claims have never been substantiated by the official investigation or confirmed by law enforcement.
I'm not going to be there. You know, I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously and whose life had been affected by her. So they were like, I don't understand how that party went.
I had Clive Davis by pure chance in here on Friday night.
As Hubel put it, "Call this an accident if you want, but it doesn't make sense to me." His remarks added to the ongoing public speculation, but they remain his personal opinion rather than established fact. According to private investigator Paul Hubel, The story did not end with the official investigation. Hubel claimed he was told that security footage from the Beverly Hilton showed two men entering Whitney Houston's hotel suite that night. However, when the National Enquirer asked why police had not acted on the alleged footage, Hubel accused investigators of accepting the accidental death ruling and ending the case without pursuing the questions he believed still remained. Those allegations have never been confirmed by law enforcement, and the official findings were not changed. Supporters of alternative theories have also pointed to other moments from the days before Whitney's passing. One of the most talked about incidents happened just 2 days before the Grammy Awards, when Whitney unexpectedly appeared during an interview with Clive Davis, Brandy, and Monica, and handed Brandy a note. Video of the moment has circulated online for years, and some viewers believe they can hear Whitney say, "I nearly drowned today." Others dispute that interpretation, and the clip has never been accepted as evidence of what happened later. Clive Davis's response after Whitney's death also became a major source of controversy. After learning that Whitney had been found in her hotel room, the Grammy weekend event he was hosting went ahead as planned. That decision sparked widespread criticism because many people felt the celebration should have been canceled out of respect, especially with Whitney's body still in the hotel while guests remained at the gathering. Clive later defended the decision, saying the event became a tribute to Whitney and that he believed she would have wanted the music to continue. His explanation satisfied some people, but left many others unconvinced, and the decision is still debated whenever the events of that night are discussed. Not everyone accepted Clive Davis's explanation for keeping the event going. Several people close to Whitney Houston reportedly said continuing the party was the opposite of what she would have wanted. One of her longtime friends, Chaka Khan, openly criticized the decision and described moving forward with the celebration as completely inappropriate. Chaka also rejected the idea that the gathering served as a tribute to Whitney. She argued that if the goal had truly been to honor her, a more respectful response would have been to say a prayer, end the event, and allow everyone to mourn instead of continuing with music, drinks, and a celebration. Her comments added even more attention to an already emotional situation. The controversy has led some people to ask why the party continued despite the tragic news. Over the years, many different theories have circulated online, including claims from some fans that the event had a deeper meaning. Those theories have never been supported by credible evidence, but they continue to appear in discussions about Whitney's death. Another point that fueled public debate was the timeline of what happened after Whitney was pronounced dead. CBS News reported that her body remained in the hotel room for several hours while investigators worked at the scene. During that same period, the event downstairs continued as planned, with guests arriving in formal attire as law enforcement and emergency personnel moved through parts of the hotel. Some critics viewed those circumstances as deeply unsettling, while others noted that decisions about preserving a death scene are typically made by investigators and medical authorities, not by event organizers. Even today, the events of that night remain one of the most discussed parts of Whitney Houston's story. Another report added to the controversy by stating that Whitney Houston's body remained in her fourth-floor hotel suite until shortly after midnight, around the time the Grammy weekend party came to an end. That timeline has continued to spark debate, even years later, as many people have questioned how everything unfolded that night. Another detail that caught people's attention was Clive Davis's decision to have Diddy speak during the event. Some viewers have wondered why Diddy was chosen instead of someone who was widely known as one of Whitney's closest friends or longtime collaborators. That choice has fueled plenty of discussion online, although no official explanation has ever been given for why he was selected. A few days after the Grammys, Diddy appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show. During the interview, Ellen asked him about the speech he gave that night, and some viewers felt he appeared uncomfortable while talking about the experience. As with many moments that get analyzed online, people have drawn different conclusions from his body language, but those interpretations remain subjective. The conversation became even more interesting because reports said Diddy later attended and hosted another gathering at the Playboy Mansion after the Grammy event ended. TMZ also reported on February 13th that he had been hospitalized with a severe migraine after returning home from that party. Some critics have questioned the optics of continuing to celebrate so soon after Whitney's death, while others have argued that it should not be taken as evidence of wrongdoing. Over the years, these events have led some people to describe the entire situation in dramatic terms and to question whether powerful figures in the entertainment industry always act in artists' best interests. At the same time, it's important to separate verified facts from speculation. There is no evidence proving that Clive Davis caused Whitney Houston's death, and the official investigation ruled her death an accident. While many people continue to debate his decisions and the business relationships surrounding Whitney's career, those discussions should not be confused with proof of criminal conduct. What do you think about everything you've heard? Do you believe the unanswered questions deserve a closer look, or do you think the official findings tell the full story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves diving into music history and controversial stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.